Bionk! Oh, I'll start again. I would like to, if I may, tell you the purpose and the reason for this review. Steve got a new action figure for his birthday, and he needed an excuse to show it off. And it has to do with this adorable little box, because today's review is over the Master Gundam. So let's get things started. Super Underport reviews all set. Ready? Go! Undefeated of the East, Super Underport reviews the Master Gundam. Hey guys, welcome to Super Underport reviews. My name's Steve, and today we're going over the Robot Dominations, the Robot Spirits Master Gundam. Without further ado, for the packaging, it's very reminiscent of the Master Gundam with this red and black color scheme. Have a nice image of the figure doing a dynamic pose on the bottom here. Tells you who he is. Has the G Gundam logo here, also the Tamashii Nation and Bandai symbols. Also, he's number 174. Side of the packaging, you just get a nice profile image of the Master Gundam. Tells you who he is again. For the top of the packaging, again, you get his name, but what's actually pretty cool is up here, it tells you that he's the mobile fighter of Neo Hong Kong, which is who he was in the TV show, so that's pretty sweet. Opposite side of the packaging, just get a little bit of bleed over of the image from the front of the packaging. More names. On the back of the packaging, get awesome images of the Master Gundam doing the Darkness Finger. Him in some dynamic poses. Master Asia head, which I'm not 100% sure how you get that, but doesn't actually come in the picture, so I assume that is probably, you have to get the Master Asia figure, but I'm not 100%, so if you guys know, please comment below, let me know. And some Lego Mumbo Jumbo. So let's get this guy open up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we have the Master Gundam open up out of his cardboard prison, you notice that just like the Bernie Gundam, his backpack comes detached out of the package, so you're going to have to attach it to him, which how you do that. On the back of the Master Gundam, you'll notice that there's a peg hole here. What you do is you take your backpack, peg right there, just push it right in. Hear a little bit of a popping sound, which you know you get it in there right. It actually stays in there very nice, unlike the Burning Gun where that thing pops out pretty much with the slightest touch. So I actually really like the little bit of an update on this because this actually stays in there very nice, and overall really love that. And then it gives you your full-on Master Gundam look with this awesome wings. One thing I kind of wish about these wings is, I'll complain about this a little bit right now, is that I wish that they opened up to do the kind of like in the TV show where he kind of uses them as more of like a cloak over top of him when he's just kind of standing around just to look menacing. Which all these wings could do is really just bend up and down for the most part. They have slightly a little bit more articulation than that, which I'll go over a little bit later in the video. But that's pretty much as epic of a look you're going to be getting with your Master Gundam. And I know they make the cape as an accessory kit, but it would have been really nice to have seen it come with the actual Master Gundam, because this is one of his more iconic looks from the show, so it was just nice for it to have been included inside the packaging. But overall, still pretty happy with these wings because they're actually pretty heavy, and they make them really back heavy when you're trying to actually display them. Though, to be honest, it's not too hard to actually get him to stand up with them, because as you can see right now, he's actually standing up pretty well, but he will tip over with a little bit of movement. But what's actually really nice too is for these backpacks, they actually come with little peg holes for Tamashii Nation stands. So if you guys have them, and I'll go get mine out in a second, you can insert the Tamashii Nation stand right here underneath the backpack, and also right in between his legs. So yeah, so if you guys are going to be wanting to put him in any kind of dynamic posing, really do actually recommend posing him with the Tamashii Nation stand, just because this guy's backpack is, again, very heavy. So pretty much just makes these poses undoable unless you actually have this stand. And even just for him just standing in normal positions, it just really just kind of gives you an added safety measure that this guy isn't going to be tipping over on your shelf, or really falling off, hurting himself. Which is something I really recommend, because these guys are kind of pricey and have very pointy edges that can snap off pretty easy with a decent amount of force. So again, it's just really nice to actually be able to use a stand with them, and I love that they come with the option. Even though it would be nice to come with the stand in the packaging, it's still great that they have the accessory pieces to be able to go along with them. And just to show you briefly, this guy with the stand going up his nether region actually makes for a very nice focal point for displaying them as well, because he looks really nice actually doing like flying jump kicks and whatnot, or even just flying positions, and that spot actually works as a nice center point for that. And for some of his other accessories he comes with in the packaging, he comes with a pair of clenched fists, a pair of karate chop hands, a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of cupping hands, and then one of his more important accessories, the Darkness Finger, which turned out awesome. Really love the frosted white pink over top of the dark. It's very iconic from the TV show, and something that I'm really glad that this figure came with, because it'll look awesome having this going up against the burning fingers and just having him displaying on the shelf where he's all like, and they're like clutching, trying to crush each other's hands. That will look awesome with this. But really do love this accessory. And then finally we're on to a pair of clenching fists, which is for his beam claw, which is made out of this pink translucent plastic, which looks really nice. Really like the details inside of this that kind of give it the illusion that it's actually cloth, which overall looks really sweet. What maybe would have been nice though is maybe seeing this in more of a attack position, because overall this looks pretty relaxed to me. While in the TV show, whenever you see him actually having this out and actually attacking somebody, it's pretty much going to be like a straight line, kind of like how a beam saber would be sticking out if it was in more of a ribbon fashion. Which would have been actually nice and maybe actually had an extra accessory to look like that. But then again, I imagine that thing would have been pretty easily breakable, while this is actually really sturdy. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this attachment. And then how you get it onto him is when you want to insert it into his hands. Right here, you'll notice that the peg at the top is a little bit weird shape. Which what this is there's actually a little bit of a groove inside of his hand, so it actually will stay in there very nice and snug. So when you're putting it in, you have to apply a little bit of force, and then you'll hear a little bit of a popping sound, but once you have it in, it actually stays in there really nice and well. And then it comes with this extra little piece of cloth, which what this is for is it actually goes underneath the hand to fully give off the ribbon effect. And what you want is you want the long piece of the ribbon to be facing towards the base of the hand, while the part that flips out a little bit be stretching out towards the ribbon. And it's just like the normal little peg where it has this little groove in here, so it actually will stay in the hand very nicely. And you just pretty much just push it in there. Hear a little bit of a pop to it. And then you have his full ribbon beam, which looks awesome. For the head sculpt, turned out really awesome. Really love his giant horns, or what I'm going to actually call ears, because you can see the indentation for the ear canal here, which not actually sure why he needs those, but it's awesome nonetheless. Love his metallic green eyes, and the faceplate looks really nice. For the body here, the mold looks really good. A lot of black plastic here with some yellows, reds, and gunmetals on it. Looks really nice. Overall helps to give off this very devilish appearance where he's just got a very dark color scheme. And even with his arm popping off. What's also cool is for his hands too, they're a little bit more pointed than you see on a lot of the other Gundams, which again helps to really go along with this more devilish kind of demonic look to him, especially with his ginormous wings back here, which look awesome by the way. Really love just how gigantic they are with a lot of red plastic here, the gunmetal, and a little bit of the yellow inside of it. Looks really nice, and you have his tiny little wings here on the back, which nothing really that impressive about the littler wings, but they're there. They serve purposes. And then coming around to his giant shoulder pads, which something I think is kind of funny is because this is supposed to be one of the most agile Gundams in G Gundam, but to me, he just, especially appearance-wise, just looks very heavy and it's very intimidating looking when you compare him to a lot of the other G Gundams. It just seemed kind of weird just as a design aspect where we're going to make the most mobile Gundam have giant circular shoulder pads and lots of armor plating on him. But he's going to be quick though nonetheless, so that's all that matters. And then moving down for his skirt here, which actually looks really nice. It's one of my more favorite parts of the Master Gundam, at least on the figure, is I like how everything kind of sits over top of each other and it just looks very clean and nice, especially once you get it positioned in a little bit better. It just looks really clean and overall really impressed with how that actually turned out. Each of these are actually articulated too, which is really nice. And then moving down for his legs, where you get his giant piston looking knee pad here, which a little bit odd, but something that's very accurate for the Master Gundam. And then you have his Gundam boots with the giant blade at the tip of his foot, where it just looks like one impressively gnarly weapon where you could just upkick you with his giant claw foot things. Which I can't remember him actually using that in the TV show, but still pretty sweet that he has it on the Gundam nonetheless. And overall, just in terms of details, this guy is fantastic. Not really anything to complain really in terms of the overall molded detail, and the paint job on this guy just looks great. And for his articulation, his head can look that far up, that far down, can rotate all the way around with a little bit of help. The shoulders are on a hinge, so they can shift outward if you want your Master Gundam to be flexing his pecs, which is really awesome. It really helps to give him a lot more posability. The shoulder pads can move up about that far. You can get it to shift out a little bit, but not too much. Can move down about that far. Can rotate all the way around. For his upper part of his bicep, can also rotate all the way around. There's a little bit of a hinge right here, so you can get his arm to actually move out a decent amount sideways. And then for his elbows, can bend about yay far. Has a double joint, but I tend to keep popping this arm out, which is getting kind of annoying, because especially on this arm, it's just really hard to show off that double joint there. Like even on this arm, arm just pops off really easy, because it's supposed to be able to bend right here, but how easily it is to pop off these arms is just almost easier to pop the arm off, move the joint, and then move the arm if you really need to bend the elbow that much. Which is a little bit of an annoyance on this guy anyways. And just my only real major complaint about it overall is entire articulation. But pretty much without that, it can bend about that far. Also has a rotation at the lower part, but it only moves just ever so slightly. And then for his hands, they can rotate all the way around, can also bend up and down a little bit. But some of the actual other hands, which I will go grab one just to show you guys. Then you'll notice on the karate chop hands, there's a little bit of a slit here right where the ball joint inserts into the hand. Which what this does is it actually allows the hand to bend up really high up, which helps to give off those like he's catching Domon's punch, or just overall just kind of like a just bring it kind of look to it. Which is something that's really nice, and it helps to really add to the articulation to the guy. And then for his chest, this plate right here can move out a little bit, so it helps to give him a little bit better of a tummy crunch, which you can bend about that far down. And then we have it in, moves about that far down. Also has a little bit of a pivot, but nothing too crazy. Can also rotate side to side, but it only goes about that far to the left and the right. And then for his skirts, each of these are on individual ball joints, so each of these ones can lift up and move around a little bit. Just to be a little bit wary that when you're actually putting him into kicking positions, if you move his legs out a little bit too far where the skirt actually can't really bend out quite that far, they do tend to pop off, but it's really easy to get these things back on. But each of these little skirts can also move. Same with even the back one can lift up a little bit. But again, if you move it a little bit too much where it can't move, it will pop off. But again, pretty simple to get that back on. Then for his legs, lifting up his skirts a little bit. Can move out about that far to the side, about that far in. Can kick outwards about that far. Can kick backwards about yay far without the skirt popping off. Has a rotation at the upper part of the thigh. Can rotate all the way around. His knees are on a double joint, so they actually have a really solid bend to them. Can rotate a little bit at the knee, but nothing too crazy. Then for his feet, have a little bit of a pivot. Can bend upward about that far and downwards about that far. And I'll just show you guys real quick. He then can do crazy splits. And then finally for his wings, they can go up about yay far. If I don't get it over top of his horns here. So up about that far. Down about yay far. Also have a really nice pivot to them. And then the little wings here also can move up about that far. Downwards about that far. And pop off really easily off the ball joint. Then for his little wings, can move up about that far, down about that far. Can also, and then for his little wings, they have a hinge. And then for his little wings, they're on a ball joint here and here, so they actually have a pretty decent range of motion and a little bit of a wiggle to them. So for some quick comparisons, here we have the Master Gundam next to the Robot Damation's Burning Gundam. And here's some of my more favorite robot mode transformers with the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock Voyager class and the Deluxe class War for Cybertron Soundwave. And here's the Vinyl Bandai Creation Showa Mechagodzilla and the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1964. And here's with the NECA Pacific Grim Crimson Typhoon and Cherno Alpha. So overall, the Master Gundam, his detail and mold turned out really awesome. His articulation's really good as well, except for the elbow joints maybe could have been done a little bit better because from what I noticed, they just pop out really easy when trying to utilize the double joint. But other than that, it's pretty impressive nonetheless. And then for his accessories, really like what he comes with, other than I would have liked to have seen another beam cloth in more of a attack position, other than the relaxed one that it comes with. But minus that, pretty happy with everything he came with overall. So in the end, I really do recommend picking up the Master Gundam, especially if you're in the G Gundam, because you need to look towards the east, because it is burning red. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like the Master Gundam? What's your favorite Gundam series? Or do you like your mechs just to be fighting kaijus? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have some closer pictures of them on Facebook. You want to click the link in the description below. Please don't be afraid to share this video around. If you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.